Hi everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Scottish Silverback podcast. And we got a good response from the first one, and some people seem to like kind of what we're talking about in that, and seemed that it was just they appreciated the fact that it's just kind of just conversation between two mates on the same level of bodybuilding. So we're just going to carry on what we did before, just getting some conversation flowing, answer a few questions, and just kind of take it from there. So. How are you this week, Greg?
I'm very good, mate. And you?
Not too bad, mate. I look like, as you pointed out 2 seconds ago, I look about 2 years old with fucking no beard and pale, but it's what it is. So, yeah, one of the big news that came out this week was obviously the Arnold Classic taking over, well, not taking over, but replacing the Amateur Olympia. So for those who don't know, we were both planning on doing the Amateur Olympia in the super heavies. And now we've got obviously the chance to compete in the Arnold Classic, which is, in my opinion, better. Not that it takes anything away from the Amateur Olympia, but like the fact it's in Arnold and it's that amateur stage, and you know even the general population know what the Arnold Classic is. So it's a much bigger deal.
Yeah, the vast size of it, and obviously the expo, and it's also tied in with the pro stage. So I mean, like you'd be bumping shoulders with some of the pros you look up to, who you want to be. So yeah, in that terms, I'd say it's going to be an awesome experience regardless. But yeah, a very great show. I think I'd rather be doing that anyway.
Yeah, I agree. That's when they said that, I was just like, I wasn't fussed at all. I thought it was fine. But
I think I said to you, the thing that got me was like, it was just, there was no word of it. It was just like, boom, this has changed to this. Like the show we had a heart set on, then it was changed to this. It was just a bit like, well, fuck, you could have told us a bit. But I mean, like, end of the day, when you sat back and think of it, like, well, this is a much better experience at the end of the day. So, yeah, it is great. It's going to be good.
And anyone who listened to the last episode will heard my story about that Arnold. So it's a wee bit of like redemption on my part. And even if I come like second last, still I've done better than I did last time. So it's not a show that's close to my heart, but it's a show that's close to like, you know what I'm trying to say. Like it does mean a lot.
Yeah,
in a sense.
there's like unfinished business left with that show.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So I was actually delighted with that, and like you said, we've got the expo and all that attached to it, whereas the Amateur Olympia probably wouldn't have, and it's just a bigger experience altogether. So it's going to be.
I think for me, looking at the show, I mean, like you're seeing a lot of people coming out of the woodwork, and they're not so much saying they're doing it, but it's like. When you look at the calendar, that's it. There's like
I know
there's like the regionals, and there's like the shows like this, but they're so much earlier on, and people are just not ready for them because they've no idea of what's happening right now. So it's like that is the fucking show, and you know people are going to be doing that, and it's great because I mean you want to be up against the best, you want to be bringing your best, and that's the instance, so you know there's no doubt or any questioning to who's winning.
Yeah. And like you think of, it's fine on a British standpoint, but shows are like that are dangerous in the sense that you've got guys like from Eastern Europe and that don't have Instagram, don't have social media. You know, they train in like a dungeon gym and all that, and you just won't know about them until the last minute. So, yeah. But I'm sure you're the same. That's just motivating to me. You know, there's no point in fucking worrying about what monster's going to show up because you just don't know. So.
It's I think that for me, like I learn every show I do, like I learn like how much, well, I don't want to say how much better you can do, but I think you believe in yourself a lot more. Like I said to you last time when I got to the tanning place, I was like, mate, you should see the fucking monster in here. And he was huge. He must have been on stage about 130 kilos. He was just massive. But I beat him. And it was like a good beating. It wasn't like he was next to me. I was like well ahead of him. So it's like you don't really need to worry about the monsters you're up against. I mean, if you've got a better physique, then that's what they're going to grade you on. Yes, it's great carrying a lot of muscle, but if that lot of muscle doesn't look great, they're not going to win. You need to have everything about it. It's not just the biggest on stage. It's all about the best on stage. So I think as you go on, you learn that.
Yeah, that was a similar story to me in 2019 at the NABA British, and like I'm class 1 by a ball hair, like by half a centimeter. So obviously the guys who are clearing that height, you've got guys in that class that were like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and like I was the same backstage. I was like texting everyone, being like, I'm just a wee boy here. But when you look back in photos, yeah, I wasn't the biggest, but I was the most complete. And you just have to blank out because you just don't know, because everyone thinks they're a wee boy. Everyone thinks they're small next to whoever, and it's not until you see yourself on stage you're like, oh, right, okay, I wasn't actually blitzed there. So yeah,
I think that's the thing that's like we spoke about it last week. Everyone's like putting their weight out on their photos. I mean, don't get me wrong. I put weight out on my photos. It's more as I say, this is what I am. It's not like this. I'm bragging. It's like I just like people to have a perspective of what I am, how I look. But I mean, that's like the thing I think is kind of lost in bodybuilding now. It's like who can get the biggest, who looks the biggest. And that's not going to win shows. Yeah, it looks great, but I mean, that's not going to win shows. And that is something that like really people need to grasp. That you need to be the most, as you said, complete. You have to carry great thickness, the density, the separation to the muscles, the symmetry. There's so much to think about than just being the big bugger on stage.
Yeah,
so much more to think about. So
yeah,
it's just something that gets lost.
As soon as you think of it as an art form, like that's when you kind of get into your stride and you actually start kind of looking at things a bit more methodically and yeah, rather than just like sheer mass. So but no, it's good that that's kind of been announced. So
Definitely.
a topic we spoke about, obviously everything that's going on with Ryan Crawley, and fucking everyone knows what fucking happened.
Oh, everyone's seen it. Fuck me.
With his chest hair, man. But I DM'd him. I DM'd him from his story, just saying, I fucking hope you get well, mate. But fucking hell, man, like it's again, how many boys do we know who have torn pecs from barbell benching? You know,
I know people that have torn their pecs from barbell benching 25% of what they could normally do, and it's not the fact of like the weight. It's like, I don't want to go ahead to the conversation here, but it's like you need to be prepared for whatever weight you're doing. Even if you're warming up, don't expect that weight just to be fucking flying about. Like I try and execute my warm-up sets as I'm trying to execute my main sets, and like going through the perfect form, perfect motions, the control, everything. I'm not just banging it out, dropping the weight, smashing it off my chest, because that's where you're going to get a tear, regardless of the weight. But I mean, like you see from the video, when he's going down, he's shaking like a shitting dog, and not shaking like a shitting dog. He's got it under control. Like you can see a lot of people doing their sets. It's because that weight should not be in his hands. Simple fact of that.
You can see that as it comes off the rack, like he's already askew. That right side is already dipping at a weird angle. So, fuck me, man, that was brutal. But like I decline bench. I've declined bench for years. And I've never had an issue with it, never had anything, but I still know even at this point in my training, I still know my limits. You know, I went from like a 185 decline bench, pushing like 8-9 reps, and I thought I'd try 190, and the difference in that 190 like was ridiculous. That 5 kilo jump when you get to that sort of level is huge. And if I was then to go, right, I'm going to just try 220. So I got 8 reps with 185, and then I go to 220. Like you're asking for just fucking absolute disaster. That I don't want to sit here and blame the boy, because we all test ourselves. That's the whole point of this sport. The whole point of this sport is to keep pushing yourself and testing the waters. But there is a point of no returns. Like you're not getting anything out of doing what you're doing. It's not like anything less than 3 reps. You know, it's not. It hasn't got a place.
Yeah, like James Hollinshead said the best. He goes, if I can't move that weight for 3, I'm not going to touch it. And that's a simple case of the risk reward in our situation. Like, I'm not a powerlifter. I have no reason to go pick up a 1 rep max. What is the point? What is that going to do for me? It's not going to do anything towards of what I could go execute 4 or 5 like all out pure failure reps. That's going to be more beneficial for me and safer, and I'm still going to be putting maximum load on myself. But a 1 rep max, it's just not, the reward's just not there. It might look amazing for Instagram and people are like, holy shit, he just done that, but in terms of what it's going to do for me, nothing.
No, I've never tinkered about with that's a lie. When I was at school, I'd done a 5-3-1 routine, powerlifting routine. I did that because obviously I had no idea what I was doing, so I just copied that out of Flex magazine. And that's the last time I'd done 1 rep maxes. So that's what, 2009. So what, 12 years ago. literally last time I done a 1 rep max, and the lowest I've ever been is 4. I'll deadlift for 4, but that's setting my plan to go that. But you know what I mean, like if it's a deadlift and it's not even fucking coming off an inch off the floor, then it shouldn't be touched. So yeah,
no, I mean, yeah, there's a place for everything, but there's not a place for that in my books for what I do or what I'm wanting to achieve out myself. There's no point. I've not done 1 rep maxes in 5 years, maybe. I think it was when I was in my squatting days and I was doing like my front squats and stuff. And the last one I done was like a 240 front squat, and it was. I mean, it wasn't like I didn't manage it. I did, but it was still pretty risky in the terms I've done it. But now I look back at things like I wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Even like a deadlift, I wouldn't do a 1 rep deadlift again.
We've both had like pains and niggles in that as well. So if you're especially doing like movements that compromise those certain things, you're just gonna it's just asking for disaster. And I want to like emphasize the fact that every day I talk to clients and say, look, you need to do more, you need to push harder in that set. We've seen the videos of like clients and that where you're just like, mate, there's another fucking 4 in there. But there's also the flip side of that where you do get decisions that are, you know, it is based on ego at the end of the day. Why else would you bench press 220? You know what I mean? And
no.
It's just a shame that was the result for him. You know, I'd rather have just seen him fail and just not get it. But you know, a lot of guys who I know have torn pecs will tell you that they regret doing what they did.
Oh,
so
every single
it's not the same as
anyone I know with a torn pec or torn anything that says like the story as in like I would do it again, or like what I was doing wasn't stupid. Every single one was probably stupid. They've all got a suggestions like, oh, I should have done this, or I wish I did this. It's not like, oh, it was just a freak accident that happened, because if it was, you probably had it under control, you done it all properly, you warmed up, you stretched, so on. But I've never heard one story where that's the case.
So like I said, we're not obviously having a go at the boy, because obviously we don't want that, but yeah, it is about knowing your limits and where you're taking things. So
I mean, it's not just about the actual muscle strength. I mean, like, that's not what goes. It's the tendons and ligaments that are going. That's the ones that are like going to take the load. Like my cousin is a power lifter, and he says like the training he does is not about just like building up your muscle strength. There's certain sets he'll do to actually just build up his tendon and ligament strength, and that's like obviously what these guys have to do, because I mean, when you get up to some of the weights these guys have to pull, I mean, fuck, those tendon ligaments are not built for anything close to that, so they better be doing work to make them stronger, just the muscle. So
I know I mean, powerlifting's a totally different game, and this podcast would be a short one if I was to talk about fucking powerlifting. So, but like I said, it's one of those. It's a freak accident, but you know, you need to know when not to kind of. We see it all the time. We see it all the time when these gym fail
things that shouldn't happen.
So, so I don't want to talk about that for too long. But know your limitations. That's basically the point we're trying to make. Do you want to jump into some questions while I fucking turn this light up a wee bit?
Okay. A couple of good first ones. Goals for the next 3 to 5 years. You go first.
I tell you, we're just going to talk about bodybuilding wise.
I mean, you could do as your career spell as well, because obviously you're involved, your job's part of it.
Well, I hope to get my pro card in the next 3 to 5 years. The goal prior to NABA cancelling all their shows was to get the Universe title. But since they scrapped, I'm not taking 2 years off. So I'd rather just jump in and try and go for my pro card. So even if next year, if I don't get it this year, I'm still going to go for it next year and just kind of push the Universe thing aside, because now that that's out of my mind, I've kind of lost my drive for that now. So hopefully the next 3-5 years, definitely have that pro card. And you know, I've worked with guys like yourself, but I want to work with more guys and girls at your level. So I've been very fortunate with such a small population of people we have that do this, to have worked with quite a few good guys and girls. So just keep pushing that in terms of coaching and that. That's really what I do, because I enjoy coaching as much as I do training and competing myself. So those are definitely kind of the goals I want to hit, bodybuilding wise. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking anyway. So definitely.
Definitely, I want to. I mean, like, obviously, I've got my heart set on my pro card this year. Last year, I felt like I was in grass lengths of it, but it just wasn't the right time. But I feel like this year, the amount of work I've put in, I just kind of hope I can pull that off. But I mean, you probably feel the same. But I mean, everybody does who wants to win their pro card. And if that was to happen, I would love to hit a pro show within the next 3 years and be placing pretty well. I would love to say like a top 5 in like a kind of normal show, like say the Spanish Europa show or something like that, like the top 3, 5. That's kind of my kind of goals in terms of bodybuilding. Obviously, if I do better than that, then it's just a plus. Yeah, I think business-wise, obviously, just kind of keep growing, just kind of work with some better people, a lot more, obviously, in the side of prep and bodybuilding than more lifestyle. Because obviously, for us who are actually involved more in the sport, I think it's just more of a gratis. Well, it's just better, obviously, because it's like what we do. So we want to show people like what we know and what we've learned throughout our years of competing and apply it to their preps. Just obviously, when they come away with like medals, then it's just so rewarding to yourself as well as them. So it's something I want to aim towards, of growing business that way.
Yeah, I hope like no one takes it like twist that. Like, I love working with fucking everyone. You know what I mean? I'm not just saying like I just want like that kind of higher level. But when you're talking about that higher level, like the demands of a coach are a lot higher, and a lot higher in terms of like their knowledge, a lot in terms of their time they devote, and know that there is intricacies at that level in terms of competing and prepping people. So it's just more of a challenge. That's purely the reason why I want that. It's not necessarily to say that anyone who competes at a lower level is not who I want to coach. That's not the case. Just I wanted to put that out there before anyone fucking.
Great to have a very wide range of clients, but I mean, like obviously, where you want to be in like years to come as like a coach, I mean, that's pretty much where you will want to end up. But right now, obviously, you want to help out everybody and get them along that journey and reach their goals.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was the same for you. It's like if I could place like in decent, IFB pro shows, that'd be incredible as well. But we're talking next, like our work ethics are both fucking pretty fucking good, I'd say. You're talking about a level where like you can have all the work ethic, you can have all the tools, but there is a genetic component that like there's the potential that will cap how far you can go. So like when you look at some of the top guys in the world, like they don't really shift in terms of the top like 15, because the sport is so at that level is so genetically determined. So even to just crack like a pro show, a good place in a pro show would be fucking amazing. So it's bodybuilding's kind of different in that sense, because like obviously everyone wants to win, but when you're at that level, it's placing well is amazing in itself. So that's kind of where I stand.
Your life, you want to be placing, but it's like you said, I mean, like the top spots of that there is a genetic component. It's like people say, like if you're not 6.5 foot plus, you're probably not going to be great at basketball. But it's just like I mean, you could be. There's plenty of guys who are amazing that are shorter, but it's like it's such a small margin. I mean, you look at the top guys, and like their genetics are just amazing. Like their roundness, their separation, just everything. Like to certain body parts that are just like next level. There's only a few guys I could probably name who aren't as genetically amazing, but they've just busted their ass to get there, and they're so meticulous about their day in, day out life to get to that level, and they've put so many years into it. It's very rare in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, the basketball analogy is always the one I give. So, but that's all part of the challenge at the end of the day. So, have you got another one now?
It's quite good for you. Are you concerned about being physically fit when you're older due to the years of heavy lifting and stress?
So that kind of ties into like the career kind of thing. So like I was saying to Reagan, I was like, I'd like to. I think I want to cap it at 40, like competing. I want to say whatever happens between now and 40, that happens, and then 40, I just call it a day. I've been way heavier. I've been almost 30 pounds heavier. Right now I'm pretty comfortable, but see, like pushing up that kind of weight, like I felt unhealthy all the time. And I remember thinking at the time, like I would just like to be able to run and be athletic. And there was a part of me that said to Reagan was like I need to choose something to do after all this is done. And you know, I can't go back to rugby at 40 because I'll get fucking one hit and I'll be over. So, but yeah, I think down the line, I think my priorities will shift, but I think I'll always bodybuild to an extent. But I would like to downsize, obviously at a certain point, because the maintaining just to get like a couple of ounces of muscle on our frames now is a task in and of itself. And you know, the thought of downsizing, being a bit healthier to an extent is definitely something that will have a start point for me, like 40 plus. Like it needs to happen at that point, because
every year, if you want to get better, it's a matter of like raising that bar. I mean, you've got to lift more weight, you've got to probably push more food, the body weight's got to go up, you maybe need to take more supplements. It's like the levels, you have to keep going up and up and up, so the bar keeps getting raised. So obviously that's not great on your body. But I mean, as long as you can keep your body as healthy as you possibly can while doing that, then you're going to obviously improve the length of how long you can do. I mean, like, end of the day, neither of us are going to be Dexter Jackson. We're not going to be 52 and looking how he does. I mean, that's just the genetic marvel. It goes back to the last question. But I don't say I worry. I mean, obviously, my knees hurt, my back hurts a lot. But I mean, that's just coming with the territory of what we do. I think they're always going to be there, but I've accepted that. It's what you want to do if you want to be the best. There's no point in tiptoeing around these things. If you want to be the best someone, you fucking got to go at it at full speed and come with the consequences. But I mean, it's like I said, if you try and limit those things, then great. I wouldn't say I'm worried about my physical health, because I think it will improve as I downsize when I decide to call it a day. I think one of the things will probably ruin forever will be my joints. It will probably come in my early years. I would say I won't be 80 and starting to feel my knees. I think I'll be like fucking 40 and really feeling my nails.
You know what actually worries me, and I've started to notice it myself, is like, remember you would go to like a NABA show and you'd see just like the guys who'd done NABA back in the 70s, and their faces are like fucking good. Like boots, man. See, like I see around my cheeks there, that skin is getting so thin and shiny, and like I'm just like fuck. And then I'm getting all these lines here on my face, and every diet face I have gets worse and worse and worse. And I was just thinking, like, there was a boy in Beano's in Dubai, and like Darren was like, he just looks like an old NABA guy, and I was like, that'll be me in 20 years. So I'm hoping like bodybuilding doesn't fucking ruin my looks anymore, because it's done a fair job of it so far. So, but I think probably how my face ends up is more of a concern than where my body ends up, to be honest. I know all this. So, but
I'll be minted.
Moisturisers for. Just be a bit of Botox, wee bit of Botox.
No, I would say. But it's funny that, because like when we get down to that point, we're both like, mate, check my fucking diet face. Totally loving it. I know. And it's getting to that point, you're like, how good's my diet face? And even though it looks awful, but it's like, look how lean I look.
It was that one you sent me from DW when what was that 3 years ago now? 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh mate, I was fucking. That's the worst diet face I've ever seen.
My eyes were sunken,
nuts, man. But like you said, that's getting to that point. It's an achievement, but.
Hold on.
covering my face because I can't stand how fucking bad my face looks without a beard. You right?
No, the laptop's way dying.
All right.
Charge.
Right.
Hold on. We're good.
Cool.
Carry on.
I thought I was just gonna have to fucking take the reins and just do my own solo show.
Aye. All right, saved you. Yeah. No one.
What was it then?
Diet face.
Aye, yeah, it's a trophy in and of itself of your effort. So when you see a fucking bad diet face, you know someone's dying inside.
Yeah, definitely. That's like if you're standing like at a show or you're like in line waiting to register and you're just like looking about and you just see some fucking skull eyes with like these serious lines here and then you're like, fuck, he's peeled. That's just like, but that's like what I don't think you see on the Olympia stage these days. You look back in the 90s with Kevin, like that photo we've seen Kevin like, Rowan, and it's just like absolute cheekbones coming clean out of his skin. You just know he was peeled. So it's just something you don't see. I think people getting that dieted anymore.
Yeah, definitely. It's not nice to fucking look at like outside of prep, but yeah, there we go. So
it's the effort it takes you to get to that look, though. That's like the boundary people really don't want to push.
You see that video of him sitting in the sauna a couple of days before the Night 2 Olympia? You seen that video? He's fully clothed in the sauna.
Oh yeah.
So obviously I watched that and I did that in Warehouse's sauna 2 days before the British 2013. Mate, I sat fully clothed with my hoodie on and that. I know.
I'm gonna keep on check this moron.
I know, sitting there fully clothed, mate, and then like they kept it open for me as well. So Warehouse closed at fucking 10 o'clock on a weekday. Yeah. I was there till like 10, mate, just fucking sitting in this sauna. Like, what a fucking, that's just, if we're talking about stupidity and things that you shouldn't do, like,
that's like so easy to pass out. That's just,
mate, fucking, it was so ludicrous. I don't know what I was thinking. You know what it's like? That's another topic you could fucking easily ramble on, is like that last week your fucking brain just goes out the fucking window. Yeah, I was looking at myself like I'm fucking like spilling over. I was like, what? How would I spill over? I haven't eaten anything. It's absolutely fucking impossible. And so, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go drive to the warehouse and sit in the sauna for fucking 20 minutes. So stupid, man.
And you think like that's such a good idea. Let's go. You do it and get over like, oh my god, that was horrendous.
I know.
Yeah. Stupid things you do in that last week.
I can say like I've done fucking everything. I've done stupid shit. So just experiencing it.
If you could only do one exercise for each body part for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Right. Start with quads then.
I'll go from the ground up.
Aye. Oh, right, calves.
Just do legs as a total or each individual muscle?
Well, we both train. Well, I do quads and hams, so we'll do quads and then hams.
Okay.
Right. So I'll go V squat for quads, even though I fucking hate it. I've never enjoyed V squatting, but it just feels amazing in my quads.
I would go leg press.
Hamstring. Stiff leg deadlift all day. So
as much as it would be good, I would have to go, I think, for a lion, because I can just contract so well. On a lion, my contractions are just so great.
Do you not feel that through your lower back?
If I got a good seated.
Do you not feel that through your lower back?
On lion,
when I take lion to a point, I just feel all through my lower back.
I don't hold the handles at the front, because that way you're thrusting. I'll usually have my hands at my side holding the pad that holds your quads.
Right.
That way it's like my upper body's like just like suspended almost, and the contraction's like from hip down. So I'm not using my back.
I never thought of that.
I've always done that, so it's a bit of a better feeling for me. But seated, I move forward in the movement, so my back's away from the seat. I'll lean forward and hold the handles, so I'm keeping the contraction in my hamstrings as well.
Yeah.
Just try to keep my back out of those movements, because they're so easy to take in. And like when you get about halfway through the movement, you're really trying to get the reps in.
Yeah, because like that's usually the problem with me when I do lying, is that my back gets more of a pump than my hamstrings. So we need to try that.
Not every gym has perfect padding position for your hands. The best one was when it was in Bodyworks, because the pad was like so much wider than the bit you lie down. So I just held back there and it was perfect. But you can't find the machines. Some of them are quite good.
Back.
I would honestly go for the stiff leg deads now that I feel how much they work if you can execute them well. Like, just the whole back thickness has changed just from doing them. So pretty much pick them.
I love barbell rowing. I don't think I'd do it until the end of time. A single arm, like a single arm barbell row, like a landmine row. Like, I've come to really fucking enjoy them. I used to hate them because I used to feel like the twist through my hips and my obliques was just like, it was uncomfortable. But it's fine now. So I definitely kind of use that one forever.
Yeah, it's a movement I really enjoy as well. It just feels you can keep your body really low and not have yourself up too high. It's such a great movement for your back.
That's one of those ones that I said to you where, like, it's only back movement I feel actually my lower insertion and my lat actually do something. So it's hard to get that connection at the bottom. So
yeah, definitely.
Chest.
Incline Smith.
We'll go with decline barbell. Always.
Shoulders. I would do cuffed side laterals on the cables.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one. I was going to say like dumbbell shoulder press, but I still do that in my routine now. But I still think there's a part of me that's a wee bit like, there's a bit of ego attached to that. Like, I can flick up 70s. So like, there's a lot of ego attached to that, the fact that I'm able to do that. So I think I need to disconnect myself with that exercise, I think, a wee bit, because like I don't necessarily feel a ton to the shoulder. But I still enjoy doing it. But I would say line cuffs as well. So
it's amazing. I would say over the last year I've really become to just like feel amazing, like from top to bottom, and like with a hold at the top, you just feel everything. So I'd have to go with them.
Triceps.
I really want to do what you do, you know, the Smith press or the close barbell press. But I just can't because of my shoulder. All I feel is my front delt, because the nerve damage is so great. So when I get down the bottom, it's just like overly stretching, and it just absolutely kills it, and I just can't press up. I know that would be the best movement I could do. I wish I could do them. So pretty much like all my movements are close grip press downs. In my new plan, I've been doing a lot of skull crushers, and I've actually felt them quite well with the easy bar. So I probably would go with easy bar skull crushers just now.
I always end up coming back to the close grip barbell, but like in terms of like there's a machine at Future, it's the Prime tricep extension. That's dynamite. Like usually with a tricep,
the down one.
Where you sit like that and you press down.
Oh yeah. I just never feel I can put that much load on it.
And the Prime one.
Just any of them.
Because like the one with the Prime one has a back pad that forces you into the pad. So like in other ones, like when you try and do it, it forces you back like that. Well, this one forces you in. So it's actually way better. So that's kind of why I've kind of gone with that one, because the contraction is mental at the bottom.
The ones I used to use, you're saying there's no pad. I actually like leant into it. So say this machine here and the handles are here, I would lean into like that. So I'm leaning, pushing down like that. But I just never feel there's like enough load stretching and working the triceps, and I can't like the contraction bit at the bottom just doesn't feel like great. I've just never been into the machine.
Yeah, you run the risk with pin loading machines that they just don't fit. There's tons of play loading machines like that. Pin loading machines. Biceps.
Honestly, just like cable curls.
The
individual cable curls with the individual handles, you can get such a good contraction from top to bottom. I think if you have a really good preacher that has a really good, the handles are set perfectly, then I would have picked that. But I've not found one of them in years.
Mm.
You know, the best one I ever used was the one that was in Warehouse.
I mind
You
that
know,
one.
the D handles and the spun and the twisted.
No, don't remember them.
I think it was a Nautilus, and it was just amazing.
Oh,
Not
like
used to
you had your hand up like that?
No, there was the other one. There was like the dual handle D grips on the Preacher.
No, I don't think I remember that.
No.
No,
So good.
don't remember. Aye. I would do an incline easy bar cable. That's for me, like, not well for, yeah, number one for me. There's no pain at all to the forearm, no pain to the biceps, so I can do them all day long.
Lying on the bench.
Aye, so you're lying back,
Yeah,
so right
yeah.
at the bottom, you're allowing that bicep to open up, and
Yeah.
then come up to the top. So I was doing, you know, that style of cable curl that Nick Walker does.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
leans forward like that. Yeah, I actually call them Walker curls, but like they were feeling good, but I can't get in that position just now. Like, because my arm goes through phases of just being not doing what it's told, and like the movement hurts and that, so it's weird. But I would have picked them first, and then easy bar, but they're not working just now, so okay, I'm not picking now. So is that all the body parts?
I think so. Unless you want to speak about your bum.
I didn't note for that.
We don't do.
Mm-hmm.
What is your best body part and what is your worst in your opinion?
That's easy. Legs and shoulders.
Legs being your best and shoulders being your worst. Okay.
Yeah. When I'm lean, I like my back as well. But in the off season, it doesn't really kind of have the same effect. But my legs are always kind of separated and that and thick. So,
yeah.
And shoulders, like I've got a little bit more now, but I've never had that pop 3D look to my shoulder. I was actually showing one of my clients today. I showed him a photo of like my brother. So my brother's not a bodybuilder. He just plays rugby and that. And you can see, because he doesn't do any like kind of direct like bodybuilding work, like a lot of side movements and rear delt movements and that, you can see how like up and down the shoulder is, and that's how my shoulders would look if I didn't train. And it just shows you like the genetic component of not having round delts is there. So it's taken me a long fucking time to get my shoulders in a good spot. So it's weird though, because like from the front, if I do a most muscular, it sucks me in and it makes me look smaller. But like in a back double, my delts look huge. So it's always it's a weird one.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of area and a lot of tissue there, but it's just not where you want it to be popping, I guess.
Aye.
From front to back, there's a lot. So in the back double, they look massive, and then obviously on the side, you just want them to be popping out more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just different areas, I guess. I think I would definitely say my best body part's my legs. My worst, I probably would say my arms, even though they've been vastly improved. I think I just really want ridiculous cool looking arms.
Mm-hmm.
Just something I guess every bodybuilder does, but yeah, like I said, they've been vastly improved, but I would still say they're probably a bit down where I really like them to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even my balance is quite well now in them, but still.
Yeah, it's definitely better. 100%.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's just something I think everybody wants to have big arms. It's just what you want.
Always.
But yeah.
Have you got more questions there?
Yeah, I've got a few. Who would you most like to step on stage when you turn pro?
Where?
Who would you most like to step on stage with?
Oh, with.
Quite a tough one. I think I would like to stand next to just an absolute freak just to see how they look.
Yeah, feel like a pube.
You know, I got wiped. I would just love to see what it looked like. Just like fuck.
I would just like a lineup of all the top British guys, and then me plonk somewhere in that lineup and just see kind of what's happening.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
Just see that.
Yeah. I think that'd be quite a similar answer. I think I'd love to stand on like a British stage with all the British boys and have like a good old British show. That'd be quite cool. But like I think just to see somebody on stage, you know, like someone like Rolly Winkler stand next to you, just to see the
Yeah.
sheer size and mass of the man would just be would blow you away. I think it'd be quite a cool experience in that sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what you said, like, being stand on stage while all the British lineup would be quite cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't really get much questions, but I'll look. One of my clients asked, what one body part from anyone at the 2020 Olympia would you like to take? Would you like to have?
I don't really want to say Rami's legs because they're just ridiculous, but they're fucking nuts.
I don't remember the figure Olympia lineup. 2 seconds. Mr. Olympia.
I still like to have Phil's back.
Aye.
Even if it was down and not his best, it's still fucking nuts.
You could say though, like you take his back from like another era or another year.
All right, I'll take him 2013.
Where are we? So William Bonac, Max Charles, Harry Chupin, Rami, Reagan, Phil Heath, Dexter, Hunter. Hunter's shoulders. That's one for me.
His calves.
And his calves, yeah.
Fuck.
I think my calves are alright though.
Yeah, his though. His are like fucking almost flex loose calves.
I know. Yeah, I'll go with Hunter's shoulders.
Yeah,
That's what I said it all then. Alright, that'd be good.
Yeah, I think Phil's back. Yeah, definitely.
Phil's back. I'll go with that then. Cool.
You got more?
No.
Hmm?
No, I don't. Obviously, I don't think you can answer the questions like it's your own. If it's like a shared story.
There's one here from a guy, but it's like pretty much what we've been speaking about. It's like your 1 rep bench, deadlift, and squat. Me vs you, who wins? But it's like we'll just go over it again. It's just like we'd never be in a position we'd want to do that.
Mm.
We'd probably always be on like a higher rep range to see who would get more weight. So it'd never be like a 1 rep max. But I think
just
bench.
Yeah,
Say if we're going to work on like a 6 rep range on bench.
Right. Okay. Right. We'll say 6 reps then.
Okay.
Flat bench. Flat bench.
I fucking hate flat bench. That's like the ultimate pec tail.
I fucking hate flat bench as well. But if we're comparing 3 big lifts, then
the most I've done on video was 180 for 6, but I was like fucking 4 years ago. I could easily get more now.
I think I'll probably give the bench to you. I'll give you that one.
Bench
as
is
much
bench
that,
is
as
just a
much
scary
that's
thing.
fucking painful.
It just feels unnatural.
It doesn't feel good at all. Nah. Deadlift 6.
Yeah, deadlift. You've done more than me.
I've done 340 for 1.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, like the other day when I done the 280 for 7. That's the most I've ever done. I'll probably be given 300 of what this week to see what I get. I'll probably be the most I'll ever do. And just try and progress from there.
Yeah.
So for now, we'll give you the deadlift.
Cool.
Yeah.
Squat.
I can't back squat, so you're taking that one.
I'll take that. I'll win that one easy. That was good. That was easy. I think it depends on us because, like we both done B squat last time we trained legs together, and I would say that was the fair. I think you beat me by a couple of reps in that one. So
yeah, maybe 1 or something. I can't remember.
Aye, so
I do think the machine's a great thing. I mean, like we've tried to do the safety bar squat, which is a great movement for me, but it wasn't for you.
No, I just turns into a good morning for me.
Yeah, front squats is not a thing for you, so it's very hard to do that. I mean, I think a hack squat would probably be a great movement for both. It's hard to tell.
It's also hard to find a good hack squat. Like fucking hell, man! Like I don't understand why gyms keep buying in just fucking horrendous hacks.
They don't even buy hacks. They'll buy fucking V squats or shitty other ones, and it's just like, just go the extra mile and get everybody a hack squat. They'll love it.
I know.
This other machine. See on like those fucking V squat machines and the stupid handle at the side trying to work it on your own. You miss the thing. Like, Chris, nice, just flick the bars in on a hack squat and you're done.
Aye. Me and Reagan fell out about that one time. So like, we hadn't communicated who was going to actually pop the handle on the V squat, and I was like, "Fucking racket." She's like, "You fucking didn't tell me to," and she fucking missed it. And then I had to just bail at the bottom. Oh fuck! And then she's like, "Don't talk to me like that." I was like, "Oh shit, man." Oh man,
almost died. Don't shout at me.
Yeah, there's no winning that argument. So just leave that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be quite a close one with squats. I'll just never back squat. I just can't get into position with my hands. My hands just don't go near the bar.
Yeah.
Even if I don't know if I could even do it like how James does it. Was he like holds the collar?
I've tried to do that before.
Pinching my fucking fingers.
Feels unstable as fuck.
Nah. Because the way you should hold it, obviously, that kind of crunches your traps in place where the bar needs to sit. But if you're like extending that out, it's just going to be sitting across like the flat.
No. That motion, maybe because he's so thick, he can have his hands there and it's still thick enough. But I like to get my grip as narrow as possible, like a powerlifter grip. So yeah. So it's pretty even.
So be quite a close call, I think.
Yep. Yeah. You want any more?
I've got a couple. Where's that one? What is the most stupid question anyone's asked you?
I've had, it's like a stupid situation. So I've had a guy, he came up to me and like, he was like, "Mate, like I feel like shite all the time. Like I feel like I've always got headaches, like that kind of thing." And I was like, "What are you taking, basically?" And he was like, 3 grams of tren a week. I'm not fucking joking, 3 grams. And I was like, "You taking anything else?" He's like, "No." And he's like, 3 grams. So what's that? Three vials a week. I said to him, where are you putting it? I know. Hopefully he was like misdosing himself. But I was like,
wow.
Like, come off that right fucking now. But that's probably like
yellow in colour.
Oh mate, he
must have talked to me shit.
Well, he was fucking obviously messed up inside, but he was like, chronic headaches. Obviously his blood pressure must have been about fucking 9 million over fucking 102. That's like the most stupid situation. Probably like a question. It's not like a stupid question where he was like asked, but what came out of that was pretty fucking stupid. So that's probably the dumbest one I've had.
I think I've actually told you this one before. That I actually sat and I was like, "Am I reading this wrong?" Or like that, literally asking me this question. And the fucked up thing is, I've had it more than once, and I just don't understand like how it's even possible. But the amount of clients that have like, obviously, you give them a diet and it's like this weight, and it's when they read, they were like, "You weigh your oats with or without water?"
Oh yeah.
When I say 100 grams, and I'm like, how the fuck are you going to weigh it? Like, how much water are you putting? Like, I've not stated or specified I'm putting water in this. Like, how are you going to weigh that? Like, obviously you can't weigh oats with water in it because it'd be anything. Water weighs weight. Like, you can't just weigh out that. And it's like, I was sitting there baffled for ages, and I was like, surely that's not a serious question. I've had it like about 5 times.
Yeah, I've had that one as well. I enjoy that one. That's a good one, actually. What else have clients actually asked? I've had this one before where like I've given someone like an oil, like olive oil, macadamia oil, whatever.
Oh fuck it. Yeah.
And and they were like, "Fucking hell, mate, I can't, like, this olive oil's like disgusting." I'm like, I wouldn't say it's disgusting, but like mixed in with the food, it's all right. Like, it's not too bad. like, I'm not mixing it with food. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just putting it on a spoon and drinking it. I'm like, of course it fucking tastes like shite. Of course it does. Like, what the fucking, why would you think that's a way of doing things? Oh my God, man. But you know, you have to be like, oh well, yeah, that's not right. Yeah. Fancy putting in your rice next time. I mean, or like, it's not a stupid question, but it's like, people be like, I take it, I don't drink the eggs. It's like, no, mate, you don't fucking drink the eggs. You cook them. That's a good one. I get that a lot. Like, if you want to drink the eggs, fucking fair play to you, on you go. But no, cook them.
Well, if you want to be Rocky, fill your boots, mate.
I know. If you want to get salmonella, fair play.
But,
those are good ones.
Other one. Oh fuck! I just had another good one, but I totally forgot now.
I think I don't think she'll watch this, but one of my clients, she'll know exactly what I'm talking about if she is. But I laid out a leg session. I can't remember what exercise it was, but I obviously listed it. And she was like, "You sure you don't mean this exercise?" I'm like, "No, I'm pretty fucking sure what exercise I mean. I mean that one. Do that one." Like, I would never do that to a coach. Like, did you not mean this? It's like, no, mate. If I want you to do fucking dumbbell press, I want you to do the dumbbell press. It's funny.
I had a client once who wrote, "How much alcohol can I have a week on my plan?" I'm like, none.
Let me just fucking write in the vodka and fucking meal.
I'll just go say you can have this many units, this many bottles of wine a week. Like, I don't know. I think it on like it's. I don't know what people like. I think people really expect this magical thing to come from me or you when you give them a plan, and it's like, I'm giving you the tools here. You have to use them. You have to stick to what I'm telling you to do, and you will get results. It's like that doesn't mean you can like use this plan and do what you want on top of it, like no drinking, burgers, or something. The next thing is, and they come to you and like, why is it not working? And it's like, how much alcohol you this week? They're like, oh, I've had a few beers every night and stuff. Like, oh.
I know. That's the thing is like, I think I put up a story a couple of days ago, and like I was saying that, yeah, obviously we do this as a job, we do it full time. Like, we need to make money, we need to pay bills and all that sort of stuff. But we do genuinely fucking want you to get 100% results. And we do genuinely fucking care with everything that we're telling you to do. So like, if you like, I do take it personally when a client doesn't do 100%. It really gets to me. Like, I'm like, is this my fault that they're not doing what I say? And but you know, it's at the end of the day, you can take a horse to war, but you know, it's one of those things.
We don't expect people to be as meticulous as us. Like, no way. Like, you should not be as like a general person be as serious as us about diet and like, we're like, fuck, I have to get all these meals today, or like I can't miss this meal. Like, shit happens. That happens to like general people in life. But I mean, we're making this almost as like a job. Eating is like a job to us. So it's like we have to be that serious about it. But I mean, we can understand like if you miss a meal or there's a situation kind of came up and it like that next meal wasn't your priority, like it would be to us. We get that.
Aye.
But it's like, obviously you need to stick to the plan to get the results you want, but we're not going to be like totally anal about it and like go crazy because you missed a meal or you had this meal of plan. Like, go ahead, do that, but it's like you need to be on it pretty serious, like 95% of the time, if not more, to get the results you want. Like, you can't just like fuck about. I think that's what people really like, just they don't actually even know like how much they're off. They think, oh, it's just that meal there, it won't matter. And the next day it's like, oh, it's just that one, it won't matter. And that add up.
Yeah,
don't realize
it does. Yeah, it's. I mean, we could rant about what people do wrong all day, but like, and then like you just said, like everyone's human, everyone has lives, and you can't expect someone to be 1,000,000,000% all the time. It's just not possible. So, but I think I'm done ranting about things that fucking annoy me there. I wanted to touch on fucking you probably are sick of me talking about it, but since about November, I've kind of really struggled with like my skin. Nothing extreme, but enough for me to have to take action with my skin. So as we know, like we take certain things in bodybuilding that can exacerbate how much oil your skin produces, and basically, obviously, I'm just talking about acne. So, I've had to kind of come up with like a regimen of like skincare to ensure that everything stays tip top, because you're displaying your physique, and obviously your skin's a part of your physique. And it's taken me a while. So, like I said, it was November. I had a real bad breakout across my chest. I sent you the photos. Like it was painful. Now, I never had acne growing up. Really, I had maybe like a few pimples here and there, like most kids do. But these past 5 months have been the worst my skin has ever been. And I put it down to, obviously, I've used, also being honest with this podcast, I've been using anabolics for 8 years. And I think my skin just got to a point now where my glands that secrete the oil in your skin are just obviously so large that they just produce far too much oil. And I get obviously acne from that, because that's obviously where acne comes from. And so I've had to take measures. So I've been on antibiotics. I've taken steroids to deal with like the infection of the skin and stuff. So, and I finally resorted now to using Accutane, using 20 milligram a day. And it's the Accutane has definitely been the best thing that's worked. You can see like my skin's clear, and it's clearing up on that. But I think skincare, as a bit of a fucking vendor subject as it is, like it is, I think a lot of guys need to take into account. Like obviously, that when I was talking to you when I was going through the worst of it, I was like showing like fucking bad cases of guys with skin and skin issues and stuff. And don't get me wrong, like acne is probably unavoidable for some people if you're susceptible to it. But I just really got to touch on the fact that anyone can kind of get it, and you have to find ways of keeping it under control. So like yourself, you've seen some bad skin. I've seen some bad skin over the years. So
yeah, I've had bad skin. I remember after my second show, I had like the worst. I don't even know what it was. There were almost like cysts all over, from like my chest up to halfway up my face. Yeah. The things literally came off me by a good half an inch. The pimples, and it was just crap coming out of them, and it was like blood as well. They were just so infected. And I remember like up to like here. Obviously, I didn't have my beard at the time, but it was like they were halfway up my face, and I had to wear I walked around my hoodie like this all day at work. I was so embarrassed, and it's like you don't realize how bad it is until it's you. I mean, you can look at people and go, they've got a spotty face or they've got spots, and it's just a quick glance. You don't even think anything of it. I mean, everybody gets spots, but it's like when it's you, it's on your mind 24/7, man.
Oh,
you think everyone's judging you. Can't wear t-shirts to the gym. So much stuff, and it's horrible. I've been very fortunate. I've not had that problem again. I think that was just a very bad hormone imbalance after my show from some of the orals I was taking. But that was terrible. But I mean, obviously, I feel for you when you were sending me the photos, because I understand. But but I mean, it's like we said before. Some of the stuff we do comes with the territory, and it's just like the risk you have to take. But I mean, there's obviously measures to take to prevent these things, or there's solutions, and there's things you can change in and out. Like, don't know how much you want to go into, but obviously we changed the brand. You said you changed the brand you were taking, and you said that helped a lot. So there's things you can do. It's nothing wrong with the brand in general. It's maybe just what's the type of oil they've used inside it. It's maybe a reaction to your skin, your body. So there's lots of things you can do to counteract and obviously help it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, when it plays on your mind 24/7, and when your physique is your job, it was really fucking getting to me. I was getting to like a really kind of bad place with like my outlook on myself, and obviously lucky enough, like yourself and Reagan and that, like you're saying, like it's not as bad. It's not bad, but it's obviously when it's you, it's 1,000 times worse. Aye. So but yeah, I've had to I'd keep my beard long to cover like everything here. You can't see on that camera, but because my skin's quite good now, because the way I've kind of managed to sort it basically. But all through here was just like, oh, it was just fucking cystic all the way down there, all the way through. It was so sore. And I had one here where like Reagan had to burst it, and it was just like non-stop, just not blood, but like just crap, like oil coming out, and all down my chest. I couldn't wear a t-shirt. It was so sore. And like you said, that it's a side of what we do that not a lot of many people talk about, because like even when I was looking for research and stuff like that, there's very few guys that talk about it. But you know, everyone, even yourself, have dealt with it at one point. And I've been very lucky up until this point, having pretty clear skin up until now. So you know, it's basically just a message that if you do have bad skin, that you have to figure out what it is and how to kind of keep it in a good place. But at the same time, just remember that, you know, it's common, and you just have to fucking figure it out. So
yeah, I reckon this probably area and subject would probably be a good subject to kind of end the podcast on, because it could go on for a little bit. But I think like the side effects of a lot of stuff is probably an area not a lot of people touch on. I mean, obviously, you know fine well the problem I had for many years that I had to go and get fixed. One of the reasons why I didn't compete for so long was obviously I had gyno, which wasn't mega noticeable. I competed twice with it, and you could literally just see it when I was at my leanest. But I mean, it got to a point where I started needing to push the envelope a little bit in certain compounds, and it just flared up, and there was no turning back. There was no AIs that were fixing it. There was no anything I could get to reverse it. There was nothing calming it down. I was just that my body just didn't want to accept the things to reverse it, so I had to go and get surgery. And the stress of having that done, I thought, fuck, the scar, this could go wrong. I could take away some muscle tissue from the chest, so when I'm lean, when I flex, there's going to be an indentation. All the next thing, and it was the best thing I've ever done. The relief after having it, like obviously, I can't see the scars whatsoever at all. They've done such an amazing job. If anybody has this issue or has problems, please give me a message and I'll let you know where to go or what to do to fix it. But it was definitely the best thing I've ever done, and the best money I've ever spent. Now I've got zero issues. I'm not sensitive to anything like that. It was fixed 100%. It was perfect. But I knew the risk it was coming with, what I'd taken, the things would come with. That's like the one thing nobody wants to get. Fucking nobody wants to get that. But I did. Probably many people do get it. But again, there's certain things you can take that might work with you that counteract that. I mean, you've never had issues with that, have you?
No, never, not once. I've never had sensitive nipples ever.
Yeah, you can be very lucky and just never have any sensitivity to any of that stuff. But I mean, a lot of people do. I mean, stuff like that, the acne, hair loss, what else? Just like internal damage.
Blood pressure,
have from not taking things correctly, which is seek advice, I guess, is what we're trying to say, from anybody who's wanting to take steroids and they want to do it properly, or they want to take like a good amount of this stuff or whatever. You need to seek advice from people who actually really know, like professionals or people that have done it a long time and actually know what they're speaking about, because the side effects aren't pleasant.
The take home there, I think, is just that like everyone has had something. Even natural guys, they've had kind of issues with like injuries and stuff like that. So like guys who've competed for a long time have this background and this knowledge of everything. And if you are going to go down the untested route, like you said, just make sure you're absolutely clued up in everything. Like you might be susceptible. You know, you might do a couple of shots and boom, you've got acne. Boom, you've got gyno. Like you just don't know until you go on. So I think a lot of people don't take into account exactly what could happen down the line. I think in terms of like obviously my skin and like your gyno, I think we've still been pretty lucky, I would say, in terms of not having to deal with decreases in health markers and stuff like that, and on that side of things. So it's just one of those things. It is a lottery at the end of the day.
I'll put my hands up and quite honestly say, when I first started taking, I just didn't think of these things. And then when it happened, I was like, fuck, the panic, the sheer panic when something like this happens. Like, obviously, the lump, like when you get it and your nipples are so sensitive, you're like, oh, fuck, like I've just ruined myself. I've done this to myself. What a fucking idiot. Is that the next thing? But I mean, like, there's things and there's ways around it, obviously. And there's ways to fix it. It's not ideal. You need to know if this is what you're wanting to do and this is the road and path you want to take, then it's the risks you need to accept. I mean, it's like if you're a racing car driver and you're driving 200 plus miles an hour, you need to be pretty aware you could crash into a wall and die. There's risks that come with every sport, everything you do. So this is just the risk that comes with our sport and our territory. And it's not nice, but I mean, if this is what you're wanting to do, then you need to be very aware of them.
Yeah, just shows that no one's immune to. Everyone's human at the end of the day, so it's just something to take into account. But like you did with your guy,
extremely lucky if like you take stuff and you're going through like years of doing this and you've had nothing. You'd be extremely lucky. Like everybody's probably dabbled and had a problem somewhere.
Yeah, like I said, I think I was like yourself. Like I was a bit naive when I first went. I think I did have amazing guidance to start me, and it wasn't until I had a bad breakout late 2017, cleared that up with antibiotics. That took like 4 weeks to clear. That was totally fine. Skin never had a problem since. And then, just the end of last year, like it just went, my fucking chest and face just went mental. And like a part of me, it is easy to say there and like say like these things might happen, but it's just a case of just sitting down, just review what you do and just kind of come up with a plan to kind of resolve it, because there is luckily with these drugs is that there are ways around everything. You can sort things, and even if that means coming off completely never using again, then that's an option. That has to be an option for some people, but there's ways around everything to ensure that you're tip top. So that's the kind of takeaway I take from that one. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously surgery was probably the last route I wanted to go down, but like I said, it was the best thing I've ever done. You just don't want to go under the knife and kind of get cut open, part of you removed. But at the end of the day, I was very lucky, very fortunate. And the guys done it are very good at what they do, and they've done such a fantastic job. And there's just no scars, there's no tissue missing from the chest. It's just a perfect job done. So I'm very fortunate that way. And it was like in and out in 6 hours, and recovery was 6 to 8 weeks. What I found personally, some people might be more. I healed super quick. And just kind of healed great.
I think we'll leave it there because that's been just over an hour, so I think we can wrap up there. So both what we didn't say in the last episode was that we really appreciate everyone's kind of feedback. Obviously, those people who have again got to this point in the podcast, so feel free to message us, and if you can think of improvements, obviously constructive feedback, not any old shite, but
if there's any questions about what we spoke about as well, just give us a mail and we'll be quite happy to answer them.
Yeah, we're more than happy to kind of talk about all these subjects, so just give us a shout and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys.
Cheers, guys. See you later.